Do you want to support me while also getting some cool WWE swag? Well, now you can, because I am an affiliate of WWEshop.com. Just head to the link in the description of this video, click that little bad boy, and it will bring up WWE Shop. Purchase as normal, whether it's shirts, whether it's championship titles, whether it's memorabilia, anything you want on WWE Shop, as long as you use my link, because doing so will give me a commission off your purchase. Therefore, you can support me and rep the WWE's latest swag all throughout their shop. So just head to the link in the description of this video, purchase as normal, and you're also supporting me.
I don't know. I'm in a mood today. I got
Look how tired I am.
Got to me. I'm delirious.
I need to cover my eye bags, the dark circles under my eyes. I'll just record the entire podcast like this.
I feel like that's racially insensitive.
Is it? Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I did not mean it like that. Please know my intentions were kind then. No, because I was just holding it under my...
Yeah,
Look,
I know.
I'll open my eyes right up.
Yeah, do that.
Oh,
yeah.
that's... okay.
That was a rough start. If you are listening to this and you're not in Adelaide, the temperature here for about the last 5 days has been the same temperature as the sun. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how you feel, Josh, but I am sick of having a sweaty ball sack all the time.
No, you know what I'm really sick of? Yeah, okay, the sweaty ball sack is one thing. Is when, when you get out of your work pants, you take off your work pants for the day, and you get a little bit of a whiff, and you go,
oh, yeah.
Oh, I have been sweating up a fucking storm down there, and now I smell like fucking shit.
Yeah, see, I wear shorts to work when I'm not doing anything fancy. So... Like the last few days, I've been bumming around the office doing different stuff. So I haven't had to, I've had some Teams meetings and stuff like that, which I don't need to get dressed up for. So yeah, I haven't had to, I've just been wearing shorts, but still.
Yeah, and you know what's even weirder? You know the exact smell that I'm talking about too.
That sweaty ball sack smell.
It's just not a nice smell. No. And then, it's just been so hot, and it's just shit. It's just horrible. Everyone who knows me knows that I literally disdain summer. I hate it with all my heart. There's no redeeming qualities of summer. I don't care what anyone says to me. I know summer's usually the favorite kind of, the general consensus that everyone loves summer. No. This sucks. I don't understand why you want to be hot. It's just horrible.
I think the people that love summer come from places where winter's pretty cold.
Brutal, yeah. It gets cold here, but it's not like we're fucking freezing our tits off.
Nah.
But I love hoodies, and I love trackies, and I love thick socks, and I love getting in bed and blankets up to you. I love that weather. That to me is just best weather ever. So yeah, I'm over the heat. It's still so hot, and it's been and it's not really quote unquote cooling down till really the end of next week. Every day's over 30 degrees for the next however long.
I think Friday is supposed to be 27 at this
Not
stage.
here.
It's a bit of, really?
It's 31 here on Friday, and then 33 here on Saturday, I think, and then it's 33 and onwards up until Thursday of next week, and that's 25 or something.
Yeah,
Trust me, I've been checking it every fucking minute to see whether that shit changes. So
yeah, I have a theory that 33, it's hot, but once you get to 36, anything above sort of, let's say 37 and up, feels pretty much the same.
Yeah,
it's just
to me,
hot.
30 and up is just too much for me. I feel the heat really badly. I get really I just don't do well in it. I'm nah, let's not, I don't want to do anything. I don't do great. But to me, it's just it's hot or it's not. And it's just hot every day. And but the worst part about this kind of weather here lately is that it's not cooling down at night. I'm waking up in a full sweat, like 4 a.m. because it's still like 27 degrees or some bullshit like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? It's horrible. I hate it.
Yes, it has been absolutely terrible. When this comes out and our friends, all the listeners, are listening to this, I'll be another time where I'm just, battling away at work, just another think of me day, because I've got a golf day all day Friday.
Ugh, you make me sick.
So I'll be out there slugging away. It's our golf day though this time, so I'll actually have to do some stuff first.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear.
I've had to do stuff all day for it today as well, and all morning tomorrow morning. So
sorry, mate.
yeah, I've got to get stuff ready, for like all the stuff that we send down there to give to people, and yeah,
Sounds rough.
But so there's like, I was trying to work it out today with one of the other guys that's going. There's probably like 15 of us that are staff that go. Obviously, the boss, the CEO, that's included in that 15. And then there's the managers of each store. And then there's probably like 5 of us, 6 of us 5 that aren't managers that go. And I've sort of worked my way up the ranks. They cook the barbecues around the course while everyone's playing, but not this guy. This guy's playing. This guy's playing. He doesn't have to do shit other than set up in the morning and then just have a round of golf and make everyone that I work with cook for me all day.
God. Hard life. Hard fucking life. Hard job.
Yeah, it is. But, someone's got to do it.
I guess so. Take one for the team, eh?
And then I got a golf lesson on Saturday morning. So who knows? I'll be Tiger Woods by the time. No, not at all. Not at all. Should we do a question? Because I'm going to tell you, you know how I said last week that I've got something coming up in my holidays that I'm going to be doing. I've set my idea in concrete.
Right.
And I'm going to tell it to you and to our wider audience to keep me honest and to keep me on top of it and on track. So let's do a question. Actually, let me get my random number generator up. How's my singing then? Pretty good.
Off key.
Pretty good. Random. Oh, so hopefully there will be no more internet lags on this guy's computer because guess whose internet got upgraded with NBN fiber to the premises.
Oh,
so it's
yay.
running a lot faster.
That's good. I have fiber to the node, but I live right next door to the little node thing. So I get like 101 down and like 40 up. Like it's crazy. So I have really good internet considering the fact, I live where I live.
Yeah. So mine should be better from now on.
Well, we'll say that.
This week's the week that it's always good, but next week's the test.
Yeah,
when
everyone's
everyone's
on
home. Yeah. Question this week, number 46. I read that wrong. I thought it was 49, and I read 46 is if you were at a trivia night, what category would you know most about? But we've already sort of done that.
We did a whole quiz that I was robbed at.
That I clearly won at. So I'm going to do 49 because that's what I thought it was first. What is your most successful dance move? What's your go-to dance move?
I'm not going to lie to you. We've never been out to a club together. Maybe one day we will. We'll get we might get it would be us two and my bestie.
Yeah.
I reckon we would have a good time, I reckon.
She's not a big club person. But
I'm not either, but I reckon we could have a good time. Very Adelaide of us, but at the wool shed.
Oh,
We would tear it up. But, or actually, I'll let you say yours first, then I'll say mine.
I'm not a big dancer. I just got like a little
Fuck does that mean?
like I don't know. I'm not
What are you
like
gonna do?
uncoordinated.
You're gonna do the fucking waltz while you're out. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not like a. I won't go like over the top dancing. Like I've got a cousin who like bloody shuffles and rah rah goes all out, but I'm just like I bop my head, move side to side, just like move my feet a little bit, maybe do some hand stuff every now and then.
Okay. Righto.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, we've all been in our 20s.
That's right. Yeah, me right now, old man.
Well, that's true.
I am a little bit of a pelvic thruster.
Oh,
Yeah, I am. I'll just give it a little, not like sexually, I guess, unless you take it that way, but that's on you. I'm the one that's like, well, I guess it depends how many. If I'm not drunk and I'm dancing, then it's more like you. Like it's just a little bit like, yeah, you know, whatever, this is fun. But if I've like had a few cheeky little drinks, then that's when my ass will start to shake a little bit more. Hips just move a lot.
yeah. Yeah.
I have a good time though.
Yeah. I haven't been to a club in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a
Especially
while
if
for
it-
me too.
The last time I was at a club after I separated from my ex, it was during COVID. You know when COVID only got you if you were standing up drinking?
Right, yeah. Who wants to go
So
to
you
a
had to
club and
sit
sit down?
Yeah, it was a different mood. Firstly, when you were at school, did all the kids in your class seem to have birthdays around the same time?
No.
No?
No.
Well, I was a little bit different because in high school I had two guys in my class that were born on the same day as me. So all three of us shared a birthday. But I swear to God, Rory's in like party season at his kindy. We had a party on the weekend to go to. We've got, in a fortnight's time, we've got a party to go to. In the fortnight after that, so the weekend after Easter, he's got two parties on exactly the same time, exactly the same day. So it's just party mania at the moment. He's got another one while he's with his mum. And then coming up after that will be his. And it's just party central at the moment. There can't be too many more birthdays left after this.
Sounds awful. I'm not gonna.
It truly was.
Well, I will be spending my time doing whatever the hell I want because I don't have any children.
Yeah.
Speaking of children, though, I had to take my child. My child was sick yesterday. You know how much I love my cat. She was constipated, so she just wouldn't shit for like 6 days. So I had to take Giddy to the vet, and they gave her an enema, and she cried, and I was gonna kill my boss, the vet.
Yeah, I was gonna
I was
say,
like, hurt
isn't
my
it-
fucking cat again, and I'll tear your tits off, you know? But yeah, they had to shove something up her ass, and she was like, "Meow," and I was like, oh, girl. Actually, won't finish that sentence. But she was not happy, and then she just shit like a fountain. It was fucked. It was...
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah,
No.
they like put it up there and then they squeezed this shit in, like literally this stuff into her, and she was like, "Meow," and I was like, stop. But yeah, she wouldn't shit for a few days, and she like attacked the vet and stuff like that. I was like, I'm so sorry. It was actually quite embarrassing because this is my place of work. But she
Did
like
you at least get a staff discount?
yeah, we got staff
good.
discount there. But she was so panicked because they were gonna we're just gonna like do some blood tests on her because they're like, let's see what's going on here, like if there's more underlying issues. And they like shaved her neck, and that was about to go in, and then like wrapped in a towel, and she tore through the towel with her claws. Yeah, it was wild. She's just gotten old, and she's just like, nah, we're not doing this shit. She used to be great. She used to be like the easiest cat ever. And yeah, she's just aged, and she's like, I don't want that anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, this is great. So Then we drugged her to make her feel a little bit, loopy. She was still fucking wild. It was not happening. So, yeah. Then they're like, let's give her an enema. And I was like, awesome. And then, yeah, she's better now. She's home. She was at work with me all day yesterday. She hated it. Isn't that right? She doesn't care.
Yeah, I hate being at work with me all day as well. So.
Yeah, honestly. She was like, bitch, I fucking get away from you. Like, and she was just in this cage and she was just like, I'm so over this. I was like, well, yeah. You know that, like, demonic cat noise they make when, they're just not impressed? That, like, wow. Yeah, she was making a lot of those noises when she was in the car. So, yeah, it was great. Side note, not that you care, but, can we talk about the fact that I am developing quite the mo? It's getting quite thick. And but it's not growing in the middle.
You're the anti-Hitler.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be that than
yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Like, I'd rather be that. But I just noticed, like, I'm like, this is getting quite thick. I don't know whether I should keep this or not. As a man with facial hair versus a man without facial hair, probably doesn't do that much to you. Why don't you grow a big beard?
Why?
I don't know if that would suit you. Maybe it would.
It gets itchy and I get over it. And
yeah,
I
but
just,
like, you just gotta power through that stage.
Nah, I'd just rather not.
Have you ever had a beard?
No.
I turned like 22 and I was like, I want to grow this.
I get like all patchy because it doesn't grow in like here very well.
I have pretty good.
So it's like, yeah.
I can grow like a pretty big beard if I wanted to. My older brother has like a really big, like thick beard. I don't want to like do that because I don't want to look too much like him. But yeah, like all the guys in my family, even now that I think about it, all the men in my family all had like big beards. So just have the genes, I guess, to grow facial hair.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never even really tried. It just grows more on my neck than on my face. It looks weird.
That's fair.
Then I look like a Nickelback fan.
What's wrong with Nickelback?
Nah, nothing. I actually quite like Nickelback.
So
but then
do I.
It's become cool to hate them. So here's my keep me honest thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 weeks' time, it's Easter. 2 weeks after Easter, I'm on holidays for 2 weeks. So I've got 2 weeks off around Easter. I've got however many days it comes to, whatever. But on my last day of holidays, on the Friday, so not the Friday after Easter, but the Friday after that, I am going to pledge to you guys, all, both of you, that on the Friday of my last week of holidays, I'm going to set up, hopefully this weekend, and start vlogging and releasing some actual social media content for myself. I am going to set up out in the shed, out my garage that I'm supposed to get power with, but I haven't yet. Another story. I'm going to set up my bike that I've got with a stand, so it becomes like a exercise bike essentially. And I'm going to ride every day. And on the last Friday of my holidays, I'm going to do a bike Brockman and I'm going to ride 100 Ks in a day. Starting at 0 right now. I haven't ridden for a year and a half.
May I ask why?
Well, I guess the roots, if we want to get fully deep, is that I'm not really happy with myself at the moment. I've let myself go. I'm only getting older. I don't, I want to be able to be fit and active, but I also, want to be a bit healthier and
sure,
everything like that. And, everything at the moment, it's just a really tough part of my life at the moment with the cost of living going up and everything like that. So I guess the crux of it comes down to me not being 100% happy, and I want to push myself and see how far I can actually go
and see if I've actually got the mental resolve to get 100 Ks in a day.
Yeah, good for you. I'm all for it.
So
Good luck. Jesus.
I'm going to start this weekend, a couple of rides, whatever I have to do between, and yeah. So in 4 weeks, I'm going to give it a crack for 100.
Good for you. I'm not going to hold your hand on that journey and do this with you, but
No, I'm not expecting you to.
what's that supposed to mean?
Well, I'm not expecting you to.
He called me fat.
Not at all.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It was on. It's recorded right there. I'll clip it.
I did say to your bestie that what I was going to do as well to keep myself going with it is that I'm going to put up a map of Australia and see how long it takes me to plot my way around.
Oh yeah, so you just continually. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
But I want to try get 100 in a day.
All
Through
right.
the bike Brockman. Obviously, he's way more of a man than me. I couldn't run it, but yeah, let's see if I can bike it. So
Tough.
the
Tough
journey
challenge.
starts this weekend.
Good luck. Good fucking luck. Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know. Gotta do something. I was just like so sweaty and so just like, a weekend. I'm like, I don't like this anymore. I don't like waking up stiff and sore and being like, I can't move.
Yeah, right.
So,
good for you, but whew, this is gonna be a tough one.
yeah, I don't know about anyone else, but one of my main fears was that he was gonna be lonely. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't gonna be able to make friends or have that sort of friendship group, and he'd feel alone and whatever like that. But it makes me genuinely so happy. He's got one little friend at kindy. Like, he's got a group of friends, obviously, but he has got one friend. They are just the best of friends. They, like, sometimes drop off in the morning can be a bit tough because he's a bit tired still and he doesn't want to go to, because he's usually there by himself. But if his mate is there, it's like the rest of the world does not exist and they just are the best of friends, and it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what that feeling's like, but I could imagine you don't want your kid to be lonely, especially going into an unknown territory.
Yeah, so he's got, like, we rocked up to this party on Monday, it was, on a public holiday, and it wasn't a big party, there was maybe like 7 or 8 kids, but we rocked up at the same time as his little mate, and they did not leave each other's side the whole time. They would just, like, they wouldn't have even known that the rest of the party was going on, is how much they would just, like, together.
Yeah, right.
And all the other parents are like, oh, is this them too? We've heard they're quite the dynamic duo. So it just makes me so happy. Made me quite emotional driving home afterwards thinking, I'm so glad that they've got each other because they just incredibly good. They just play well together. They just love each other.
It's nice to have that. Even as an adult, you need someone
definitely.
like that. And it's harder to make friends as an adult, as weird as it sounds, but it is. It's way harder to make friends as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Way harder to keep friends as an adult than it is when you're a child because you're not forced to be with one another.
Yeah, correct. Making friends as an adult is probably one of the hardest things about adulthood, apart from, living.
And it's probably one of the most unwritten things about being an adult. You just assume you have something in your head. You're like, oh, I'm just going to be with my friends until the day I die. And it's like, that's not really how life works. Mm-hmm. People go in different directions. I'm not saying you're going to have a falling out with everybody. Sure, that's a part of being an adult. But there's people go in different directions and then you go, I haven't talked to this person in 3 months and I didn't even realize. Because it's not all about like hanging with your friends all the time. Like, I'm sure it is for some people, but that's not life. You would, in a perfect world, you would love that. You'd love to be with your friends as often as possible, but it's just that's not realistic.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, so on the weekend when you come down, we're doing some stuff on Saturday. You'll meet one of my best friends and my cousin, who we grew up very close, so we've always been close. I actually had this conversation with him, ages ago now, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. We went to Melbourne together to see a concert. We were walking. The next night was the first round of the footy. And he's like, oh, should we just stay an extra night and go to the footy? I'm like, okay, you twisted my arm. And we were walking back from the footy, talking, whatever. And he was going, oh, you know, the more I work, the less friends I've got and stuff like that. And I was like, that's not how it works. Like, I said to him, we don't talk every day. We don't talk maybe every week. Like, but I consider you one of the closest people to me. And I know that if I needed something, I could call you, or if you needed something, you could call me. And when we catch up, it's not like awkward or anything because we haven't seen each other in a while. It's just like, but that's just how being an adult is. There's no time for catch-ups every day. There's no energy for catch-ups every day.
No.
So adult friendships are different. They're harder to... I don't know if they're harder to keep, but they're...
Oh, I don't know. They're hard to maintain.
Do you reckon?
100%. Because
But
you have
then-
to really test yourself of how much you really like this person, because you know there's always going to be obstacles, I guess you could, if you want to
Yeah.
call them that, in a friendship, because there's going to be people that have, whatever you want to call, just different life adventures, whether it's they're in a relationship, they're not in a relationship, whether they have children, they don't have children, whether they live 6 hours from you or don't, or live 5 minutes from you. There's always going to be just, it's just a different, you're not forced to be in the same room every day, so you really actually actively have to choose when your time can be together.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I mean, I never even thought about it like that, but sometimes, yeah, I guess sometimes they are a lot harder to maintain because there's a lot more choices in, like, you know what, actually I'm not going to do that. I've got too much else on, like, sort of thing.
Exactly.
But-
like, there'd be nothing, like, what obstacles do you have when you're 13? When you really think about it? I'm sure at the
Yeah.
time you thought there was plenty, but you have nothing. You have, for the most part, no job, you know, relationships aren't a thing at that age as much as you want to think they are. You're not, there's just a different mindset. All you want to do is just hang with your friends and play video games and, you know, oh my God, Mum, can he stay over on Friday night? Can we go to his house? Like, that's all you want to do when you're a kid. As an adult, like, you're like, oh my God, okay, so, all right, I want to see this person. They want to see me. When can we make this work? Oh, I have work here. Oh, I've got my kid here. Oh, I've got my mum's thing here. Oh, it's this oh, no, never mind. I can't because work starts at 7 a.m. Like, there's so many more obstacles. You actually have to make time. And I feel like when you're especially when you're a teenager, there's a little bit of a mindset of like quantity. How many friends can I have? When can I see them? I want to be doing something every day, blah, 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 blah. You have way less friends when you're an adult, and the ones that you hold really close to you, you really make sure you try and make some form of an effort because you know there's going to be those kind of barriers when you're an adult. So you have to kind of try and be like, I really like this person. Let's hang out and have a couple of drinks here. Okay, cool, we're free. Let's work this out. There's a little bit more of a schedule with your friendship, I guess you could say. But it's still, like, the core things are still, I feel like they're way stronger as an adult because there's very few people in my life, like, very few friends that I feel like I could call at 2 a.m. with a problem and they'd pick up. Or, like, be willing to pick up, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that with everybody.
Oh, no, definitely not. Do you think it's also, like, the more I think about this, because I guess I haven't thought about it much at all, but, so you got your work people that you work with that you somehow, like, some become friends, others, you know, you're friendly with and you get along well at work, but you probably wouldn't hang out too much outside of work. And if they were to leave work or you were to leave the workplace, you probably wouldn't see each other again as much as you got along when you did. But do you think there's also an element of like it's harder to make friends because the more you become an adult, the more you know yourself and the more you're actually yourself? Because when you're a kid, you just sort of go with whatever's cool or whatever seems to be.
Or you're also trying to figure it out when you're a kid.
Yeah,
like, who the fuck
that's
am
right.
I didn't know who I...
Yeah.
Nobody, as much as you think you had your head screwed on, you don't know you're trying to work it out yourself. So you kind of mix and match with people to suit what you think is yourself in that moment. That, as an adult, there's way less time for that because you're too tired. You have there's none of that. It's like, this is me now. Get along with me here, how I kind of am. If we don't get along here, I'm not, pulling strings to make this work. Like I have like 2 people at work that I consider like close friends that I see outside of work. But outside, I'm friendly with everybody, but I'm not, don't invite me to after work drinks with you. I'm not that's just not my style.
No.
And I like that barrier too, because you don't have to be best friends with everybody you work with. It makes it kind of awkward, to be completely honest. So I have like my couple that I would just be like, yeah, cool. We'll hang out outside of work. Let's go to yours on a Saturday night. You know what I mean?
When you
like
hang out outside of work, do you talk about work?
It depends on the situation. If you feel like sometimes you need to everyone loves a bitch and a moan about work at some point in their life. Feels good. And it's good to know that you have those couple of people that you can do that with, and it won't leave that table. You know what I mean? It won't leave that household that you're with. Not always. I mean, sometimes it's just natural because you're at the same place. You probably have a lot of the same issues or not. So it's natural to talk about work sometimes. But I feel like for the most part, I'm pretty self-aware, and the people that I hang around with from my work are pretty self-aware of like, we're talking about work too much. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I'm not going to lie, about 4 years ago, I could count my friends on maybe like less than one hand.
I could now, to be honest.
But like, I actually would sit there and go, actually, I don't know who I'd call if things were to get tough. Like, because they probably were tough at that time, but I didn't have anyone that I could confide in. And it made it a lot tougher. But now I've got like a few people and, I mean, this is what, episode 27?
Yeah, I think so.
It might be 26 because
no, I think it's 20.
I think there was the unpublished.
I mean, the 27th release, I don't count that. That was like a fucking, what the hell was that episode? That was like I actually think I may have been asleep recording that episode.
Yeah, it wouldn't be, But whatever this is.
I don't remember anything about that conversation, to be completely honest with you.
Let's call it 27.
Sure.
Because we were talking about it before we actually started it. But basically 27 weeks, we've become, I would consider you in the top handful of my closest friends of ever, really. You know a lot more about my life than a lot of people do.
Yeah, ditto.
And and then you get other ones that you're just like, oh, we got so much in common, but I don't see myself being like friends outside of
they're footnotes
works.
of your life.
Exactly.
If you want to say it in a fancy way, they're just little snippets. They're part. I guess we're in this conversation now, but I have a lot of I don't want to call it trust issues because I don't necessarily think it is trust issues. I'm just a little bit guarded with how I am as a person. Just with my experiences in life, sometimes it's a little bit tough for me to open up to certain people because I'm a little bit afraid of getting where's the knife going to come out and when things are going to be utilized against me, because it's hard not to, when you've been shunned a few times by a few too many people, it's a little bit hard to go out of your way to be like, all right, here we go again. Let's go through all this again and then wait for someone to turn around and leave because it's not a nice feeling. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in these situations because I, without even probably intentionally half the time, have probably done it to people. And I don't even realize that I'm doing it to people. I mean, I talk to, this isn't underselling it at all. I talk to one human being from high school still. One from my high school. There's no one else. And we were best friends at school. We're not even near as close now because we've just grown apart as human beings. But that's not to say that, again, in that small group of people where I feel like I could probably call her and go, shit's going on, I need some help. And she probably would be there in a heartbeat, and I would do the same for her. But God, we go sometimes months. We live in the same small town, and we go months and months and months without saying a word to one another. And we're like, oh, wonder what they're up to. You know what I mean? Like, so she and I, so fuck, they don't know who she is, and she wouldn't care if I said this anyway. But, so she's a lesbian. She came out when she was 14. I was the first person she had told. I didn't come out till I was 24. She was one of the first people to know, like, from my mouth, I mean, like, from me. But do you know how hard that was for me for 10 whole years of being friends with her, of being like, fuck's sake, she can do it, why can't I? I'm like, she was the closest person to me at that point in time, especially going through all high school and those awful teenage years. Like, what the fuck can I do what she's doing? So, like, I'll always really cherish that part of my life. But you just grow apart. Like, I'm not the same person I was as I was 14. She's not the same person she was when she was 14. And, you know, relationships come and go, and that always kind of builds a little bit of, I don't want to say friction, just like, it's just a barrier when you know, go through relationships and go through different hardships and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know, as a person who's rolling in towards 30 and stuff like that, my values are not the same as when I was 19. So, like, friendships change because sometimes morals don't light up with people that you thought. And, you know, there's how many times have you had a friend or even a relationship where you're like, this is going to be the person that I have by my side for the rest of my life because they value the same things I do. They blah, 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 blah. And then in 6 months' time, you're like, I never want to talk to that person again. That happens. That's part of life. You just don't realize. You think you know a person, and then you know, you change, they change, all of it. But yeah, it's like I have a very, very small, very core group of people that I feel like I could go, okay, I'm in a bit of a tough situation here. I need to call this person, or I need help from this person. And again, there's not a lot of people. It's also a little bit different for me because I'm pretty single at the moment. And, you know, funny jokes, haha. I always make a joke about it because it's funny sometimes. But it's not always, there's elements of it that are great about that. I live on my own. I kind of just have to rely on myself. And there's I don't know, there is a little bit of like I don't know the word. There's just a nice feeling about that sometimes where you're like, I've only got myself to worry about. I've been in relationships before. But, you know, there's not that person that you just have that you just like, oh my God, like outside of my friend group, I don't really have anyone to like, you know, where's my person to do all that with? Not to get all, you know, sappy. And not like a poor me. I don't mean like in a pity me way, but like it's a little bit of like the, you know, the ugly duckling in the pond when you live in an 8,000 people town and, you know, you're not like everybody else. You're not just spawning out of the corners of the town, if you get my drift.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I get it. I guess, like, you've said it before about me that I am who I am. I believe what I believe, and that's it. But a lot of who I am is different to a lot of people that I've grown up around, that I work around, that I not so much hang around now because
now for the first time, I feel like I've got a pretty good group of people that I build myself around, sort of thing. I don't build myself around them. That's probably not the right word to use, but like for the first time, I feel like I've got that. But previously, it was like, the things that I'm into pretty well, like, and I'm not interested in making myself like something else just to fit in somewhere. Like, I'm not a big drinker where all of the people that I know are massive drinkers, so I don't really like putting myself in that situation, so I just won't. So, which then I wouldn't do anything like that, so then I don't hang around those people because that's what they're doing. So it became quite isolating. And then I think when you're like that, your bad times get even worse, if that makes sense, because you're battling it yourself. And you also, I have a big of like, no one really cares about me struggling. Like, I'm struggling at the moment. But do you think people care that much that I'm struggling because my pay just isn't enough for my mortgage and my brand new car and my... Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people actually struggling that would have been sleeping outside all day and night in this heat. Like, and I'm complaining. So I've got like this whole...
I know.
And I get it. It's all perspective and it's all like circumstantial and it's all different. And everyone's stresses are different and their own. And I get that. And I'm trying to come to terms with it. But most of me is like, you're a piece of shit, man. Like, why are you complaining that your house that you owned too expensive, or your car that a lot of people have it lots worse.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that you can't... I hate when people are like, oh my god, you're complaining about this when, there's people in the world that are going hungry. And I get it. I understand where they're coming from.
I wouldn't do it to anybody else. Like, I wouldn't be
I
to
know.
you up. Shut up. Like,
no, but like...
on my inside,
you're allowed to be upset about things in your life. Like, it's not like a sin to not do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's normal. It's a natural part of life to not... Imagine being happy all the time. Yuck. Like, you don't want that. Like, you don't want to be happy all the time. You don't want to be like, oh my god. It would just be... That's not how the human brain works. It's not how human emotion works. You go through ebbs and flows and everything like that. And you're allowed to have whatever your struggle is allowed to be your struggle. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Everyone's problems are different and everyone has a different perspective on things. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
Sure, you're allowed to be grateful for the things in your life and be like, oh my god, the things that I'm complaining about are pretty like whatever. But also, that doesn't dictate how you feel. You can't help the way you feel. And I don't know. You also can't, you're saying like, oh, people, why would people... I'm paraphrasing, but why would people care about my problems? So no one wants to hear about mine. It's like, sure, you can't dictate how someone will react or how someone will feel, but that's also for better or for worse. You put those things out, and if they don't want to listen to you or don't want to help you, then whatever. But if they do, be responsive to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm getting to a point now in my life where, I mean, we keep talking about adult friendships where, like, I actually feel like for the first time, like, a year and a half ago, I met the guys from the project, and I've fit in way too easily and way too well into that group, which is unusual for me. Like, I've never really had that group of people where I just fit pretty good. And then the offshoot of that is all the people that I've met through there, including yourself. And then, I feel like we were becoming close just through talking every week, and then met each other. And
it was like a whole nother thing where it was like, okay, just come and stay at our place. It'll be fine. Like, how often, like, you're more than welcome anytime sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just become like a very easy, I don't know, is it an organic friendship? Because we sort of tried to publicize it, but
Sure. Well, no, but I think
it was a very
for us,
easy friendship.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of push and pull. That wasn't like, oh, like, do we get? We just kind of clicked from the very beginning, and which is odd because I don't have anyone else in my life at all like you. Like, I really, honestly, there's no one that kind of. If you look at like friends for me, or just people in my life for me, just in a statistic way, you wouldn't really find you in there. Like, we're just very different human beings. Like, if you look at all my friends, it's just, yeah, I don't know, but I think it was because, I don't know, it was just very, there wasn't a lot of struggle between us two when we became, I think it was always a little bit like, oh, I'm just talking to this person. They're just kind of a podcast host. But when we actually did meet, which was on my birthday last year, like, we actually physically met in person, that's when I was just like, oh, I guess I'm not, that's when it kind of crossed that boundary of just like, where we're just co-hosts together, we're just like talking of the hell of it, to being like buds. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then, like, I've gotten along so well with you, and are we allowed to say Mel on here? I just say my bestie all my time, but I guess it just sounds a bit weird in the context of the conversation, but just, I fit in with both of you very well, and I can, I don't know, there's some friends that you have that's a little bit, you're friends with these people, but you can tell, what's the word I'm looking for? You can kind of tell there's a little bit of like, oh, they don't love that about me. Or like, there's a little bit of like a conditional thing with it. It's like, oh, it's friends in small doses, or it's, you know, I couldn't go and stay at their house, or they couldn't come stay at my house. But like, you guys are very, there's just a lot, like, I know that if something was happening to me, I could call you and I could call Mel and be like, guys, I'm really sorry, but I'm going through something right now. Is there any chance that you could help me some way? And I'm pretty certain that you guys would drop pretty much anything to help. And I know that's the same. I do the same for you guys and stuff like that. Like, there's just something about that, and that's not us, for people listening and stuff like that. That's not something that me and Ray discuss. We just know that there's like there's a good vibe with that. You know what I mean? Like I've said this, I don't know if I've said this off or on the show, probably as in a joke, but like, if I was to meet someone relatively soon, like, the people I'd want to introduce to make sure that the vibe is okay is probably Ray and Mel. They are, like, I say mum and dad a lot, but that's what it feels like sometimes. It's just like, you know, to have it would be dangerous, but to have a camera on us three when we're actually together would be pretty wild, because we do it's like we have been friends we've all known each other since we were 10 years old. That's how the vibe of it is anyway, and we'll just kind of understand our quirks and our boundaries and our strengths and our weaknesses, and sometimes there's a little bit of friendships that exploit that on both ends sometimes, of just like, oh, I know what's good about this person, I will know what's bad, I know how to get something out of them. There's not a lot of, it's just a very like, that no one's like benefiting from this, you know what I mean? There's just, I don't know, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know.
When you really think about it, like, between like, well, Mel and I have our own things in common, that's why we're in a relationship. But like, I mean, when with you and I, other than the fact that we love professional wrestling and we like footy, we don't have a lot else in common that, like, you know, binds us.
We're very different. We do think, even just like little superficial things, we do very differently as people.
Yeah. And then even the same with Mel and you as well. There's not like this one core common interest that is
probably
like
even less really between me and
me. But yeah, it's just a weird thing. Adult friendships are
But when you know that you've got them, there's no real, it's not like an aha moment of this like, like, okay, cool. Like because of this happening, we're now kind of bound together. It's just like an undeniable feeling when you can feel that kind of energy in a room. It's a nice feeling, and it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you're like, oh, cool. Like, I just know that, like, if I said to you tomorrow, like, oh my God, I've got to be somewhere, I need to stay at your house, you'd be like, cool, no problem. We'll set up the couch, even if it's just setting up a couch for me. And I know, not that you're in my neck of the woods very often, but you guys know that's, the door is open here, at a kind
of... might have to come up there Easter when we got nothing else on.
Yeah, come up and see my neck of the woods. You'll love it.
Yeah.
You come meet my biological daughter.
Okay. But yeah, it's adult friendships. I quite often get very jealous of Mel. I mean, we've broken the besties thing here. We're just going full name.
Next week it'll be back to
We'll go birth certificate, everything like that. We'll give you that a full ID next week.
Centrelink number, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But I get very quite jealous of her sometimes because she's got this group of friends that they were friends in high school and they've continued to be friends through their adult life. There's little groups within that group. Like, she's a lot closer to some than others. But, like, one of them was in the room for her giving birth. Like, she was the support person for her. And, like, that's a friend that will do that with you because I've been in that room. That is not a nice place to be.
Couldn't imagine.
But, like, and they've been through so much together and they're just such great friends. And I get quite jealous of that. But I think I'm building that at the moment from, I would almost say, like, I know a lot of people and I get along with a lot of people. Like, I've got customers at work that now that I've worked there for 10 years, they were apprentices when I started. We're about the same age. They've grown up like me. We've had kids around the same time. We've, done all that around the same time. So we've got a lot in common and we get along very well and we'll talk about life and whatever. But the superficial parts. But like
surface level.
Yeah, if they were to get a different job or if I was to get a different job, never see them again ever. Maybe run into them at the shops once or twice. But like now I'm sort of building that group of friends like with yourself and the guys from the project who just, I mean, most of them now. Great people. I adore every single one of them. And like I've always had a close cousins group and another group of friends through my cousins that I get along with quite well, and we do grand finals together and we do this, and I would consider them, like, I wouldn't go to them with problems or anything like that, but they're just good people to hang around, and they're a bit older than me. I quite admire them as people. But now, like, my cousin got married, and like when we were meeting his then girlfriend or then fiance, she's like, "Oh, my brother's looking for a job," and I was like, "Oh, my work's looking for somewhere. Send me his resume, and I'll put it in at work." Now he's been working at work for 5 years. We've become near on best friends. He literally was like one of my main supports when I was going through all my shit. And we've become best of friends, but just happen's sake. Like, there was no, we weren't doing anything. It was just like, oh, my brother needs a job. And then, you got a little bit of in common to talk about to start with because we know the similar people. And then again, but a bit like you, and you'll meet him on Saturday, we don't have a lot in common other than my cousin's his brother-in-law, and we work at the same place. But we just click somehow. And, once you get that click, there's still going to be obstacles in the way. I mean, I'm lucky because I see him every day at work. And he has a different job now at work, which makes it a bit harder. But I used to get bored and just like, well,
go off and chat for an hour. Yeah. But it makes it a bit harder now with his new job. But like, there's still going to be obstacles. But when you click with someone, it's just, I don't know, it's easier to just be like, oh, we're going to do this. Come along. We're going to
just make it work. You make it work. I mean, it's not like, for people listening and for people that kind of don't know, like the biggest obstacle for me and Ray being friends is that we live 2 hours apart. It's not just like, oh, cool, I'll just pop round after work on a Tuesday night. Like, that's not, I mean, it's possible, but it's fucking hard. But we make things work. If I want to hang out with Ray, I got to drive up. I mean, coming home from Perth, I wanted to be home in my bed so badly that I drove home at midnight just to be home. And I didn't get home until, nearly 2 a.m. Like, that's just, I don't know. But when you have friends that you trust and that you love and stuff like that, they're the kind of obstacles that you just like, yeah, because it's worth it for those kind of relationships in your life because they don't come often. That's not like just something that happens every day. And like I said, I've got a few core people in that group that I can count on kind of one hand. And, a couple of them live away, a couple of them live where I live and stuff like that, that I feel like I could do that. And that's outside of like my mom or like my sister and stuff like that of like, those are like unconditional, just like they'll do anything just because they're your family and whatever. But, outside of that, there's not a lot. And like I said before, it's not like I have a boyfriend in my life that I can just, do that. So it's a little bit, that adds another layer of things for me and stuff like that. And that's another thing, like, for, we talk about the differences between me and you, Ray. There's a very big obvious difference between me and you that we will never truly relate on. But for some reason, we relate on it in a sense of like understanding and stuff like that. Is just like, I don't know what it's like to be a straight person. I don't know what it's like. And I can't get in that mindset of just that kind of, I don't understand. And you don't understand what it's like to be me. And I just think a lot of friends in my life, especially post coming out, have been a little bit more of like trying to, instead of trying to understand, trying to fix it and trying to, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Oh yeah, it's just like this. It's like, no, it's not like that. You don't get it. And you're probably one of the only people in my life, male-wise, that don't try and do that. You don't pretend like you understand what that's like. But you're also very responsive and very receptive to trying to figure it out. Because for some reason, and I didn't know you 10 years ago, but I don't feel like we would have been friends 10 years ago. I truly don't. And I don't mean that in an awful way. I just think we would have been two very different people. And I don't think we would have been friends. So yeah, there's like that difference. And I don't think I've ever gotten along as well with a straight male as, well, actually most of my friends are straight males, but like just a different level of friendship. It's a little bit more than just the surface level and stuff like that. I never thought that would happen. And not only that, is that it's very nice to have like a male friend in my life, like a very close male friend that I'm like, you know what? I have no interest in them sexually. This is great. No offense, Ray.
No, none taken.
You're a fine-looking person, I guess. But yeah, it's like nice to feel that too, because that's not always the easiest for me. Not always on my end for the other person, because they're always just like, is there an ulterior motive here? It's like, I'm 99.9999% sure that I'll never have that feeling towards Ray. No offense. Which is nice.
It's fine. There is no offense taken there. But yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. There's like, I don't know. There's no point. Like, there's things about me that you'll never understand either. Like,
exactly.
But
and I fucking try to either, because I've tried a couple of times to try and think like you, and it drives me fucking insane. Because we're just different people.
Yeah. I mean,
Truly.
Oh, yeah.
Very different human beings.
Yeah. So, this has been one of the deep episodes again. We haven't had one of these for a while.
Mhm.
I think we've just spoken for 40 minutes about friendship.
Should I try and break the tension and make a joke?
Do you want to hear a joke?
Should I? Or you
Yeah,
tell
go
me
on.
your No, you tell me your joke. You seem to have one lined up.
Why do ducks have feathers?
I don't know.
So you don't see their butt quack.
Huh, mine's butt related too, because I was about to say we went as deep as my fourth time I tried to do butt sex. It's a gay joke, you see, because penis in the bum.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you get it? It's funny.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you can laugh. I didn't. It hurt. Anyway.
Yeah, that was a deep one again.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well, I guess we needed it. As I said to you
Yeah,
earlier in
I
this,
didn't
I've
really-
not been feeling great.
Yeah, I've been a little bit weird in the last couple of weeks and stuff like that. I've just been very, I don't know, I've just kept to myself a little bit.
Mm.
And I don't really know why. Nothing's really happened.
I've noticed, but not in like I did a little bit go, oh, have I done something wrong? And then I was like, probably not.
No, you know if you've done something wrong with me, because I'm the type of person that will tell you. No, I've just been a little bit to myself. I've just been a little bit, I've needed to spend some time with me, doing a lot of just reflecting on life and stuff. All the boring stuff. I've just been at home and, yeah, just kind of spending time with me. You know what I'm saying? So, just been a little bit quieter. People at work started to notice, and I hate that shit. I'm like, fuck off. I'm not being a bitch. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just hanging out with me for a little while. I'm trying to do some things that just make me at peace a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and that sometimes is just going to bed at 8 p.m. and just, you know, just doing things for me instead of pleasing people has been a big part of my life for a long time. And sometimes it's not about other people. Sometimes you just got to please yourself, and you've just, and for some people that doesn't, but for some people it isn't like, ew, I just pat Kitty's tail. Well, I've been doing a little bit of that, I guess, but.
Before we get going, just to lighten the mood a little bit, recommend King Strikes Again, introduces you to Gogglebox.
No. You are not claiming that one. You didn't bring it to me. I'd already seen it before. And you didn't plan it. You weren't like, oh, what are we going to show him next? It just happened to be on in Perth. And then I was like, this show is actually quite good.
We've got one for you this weekend.
Oh, well, we'll wait
I'm not going to mention it on here, and we will not talk about it.
No, well, we'll see. I'm in Gogglebox mode at the moment. I've express watched a lot of Gogglebox in the last couple of days. I was so into it. Yeah, so we're like we always do. We record on a Wednesday. I watched Raw on my computer while Gogglebox was on the television. That's how
disgusting.
into it. That's how into it I was. I had two
can't
programs
believe
going at one time.
Cody Rhodes was crying and you were watching Gogglebox.
I was like this, looking over at my TV, and then I'd look over and be like, cool. So I'm going to keep watching this. It was fantastic. It was the fastest episode of Raw I've ever watched. It was a great episode, but it was the fastest episode because I had Gogglebox as well. Isn't that truly like the most millennial thing in the world that I can't even... My attention is so short that I can't even watch one program at once. I have to watch two things at once.
Correct.
Fuck me.
Watch me hit this on the way out. A2O Podcast on your social medias, Twitter, X if you're nasty, TikTok, Instagram. Go over to Josh Robertson 00 to watch the YouTube version, to watch all of his Twitch stuff, all of his WWE 2K24, which has dropped. Go watch all that over there. Follow him on the social media, Josh Robertson 00. Get over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Like us, press the follow button, give us a review, press 5 stars. Get it all done. Bang.
It's pretty
Probably
good.
one of my better ones.
Yeah, you're getting... Some weeks it's like... I always think you're gonna... Like, not once you knock it out of the park, once you'll just continue to do it. It's not the case with you. It's hit and miss. That's fine. That's life.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's completely fine.
See you all next week. Adios, amigos.
Goodbye.